Good morning, YouTube. Today we have for you an updated Paleozoic deck profile. They just got the new Link released from Lightning Overdrive. I like to throw my own little spice. If you've seen this Paleozoic profile, you know I play it as purely Zoics, which means there aren't any extra frogs in the main deck, but it adds a little bit of an extra spice and flair. But without further ado, let's just jump into it. Starting off with our monster traps. Yeah, this is kind of weird. We're just going to start with the traps. We run a playset of Dynamiscus. Dynamiscus, of course, is banish anything by ditching a card, and this deck has so many ways of getting to it, and it's just one of the best disruptions. People even cite this in the non-Paleozoic deck, so obviously you want to play that as a 3 of. Continuing on with our disruptions, we run to playset of Candina. Canadia? I don't know. I'm terrible with names. And I've been playing this deck for so long. Anyway, this is essentially a Book of Moon, so you want free stuff, disruption, that kind of stuff. And the last of the main disruptions is a playset of Olnoides. This is essentially an MST, Dust Tornado, whichever one you would like to say. So, all of these, of course, can be special summoned from the graveyard each time you activate a trap card. Of course, it has to be in response to the trap card, so it's a bit difficult to pop off, but with as many traps that we have in here that we can just activate, it makes it quite easy. We're still not finished with our Paleozoics, though. We're going to play some Morella. Morella is essentially a Foolish Burial, and what I really love about Morella is that it doesn't require interaction from your opponent or your opponent to have a board presence, so you can genuinely just activate it whenever. Next, we run a playset of Pikaia. Pikaia is essentially an Allure of Darkness of sorts, except you get a discard, which is nice, so it has to be a Paleozoic monster or card. Fortunately, you run plenty of them in your deck, so it's a great card. It's just a draw card, and yeah, draw cards are good. Next, we're on a playset of Hallucigenia. Hallucigenia halves the attack defense of your opponent's monster. One face-up monster, excuse me, doesn't even have to be your opponent. You can technically target one of your cards. And then, yeah, it's an additionally just more names. I like to have each of them in here. Like these last two, I don't run as many of because they're not as amazing. Run 2 Lechendolia. This returns a banished card to the graveyard. This could be your opponent's or your own, so it has some nice, cute little interactions. And just for the sake of the name, 1 Eldonia. This is a 500 attack and defense points boost. Yeah, it doesn't really do that much. There are niche occasions where it comes in handy, but I don't run it too many. So, yeah, we fill up our entire monster lab with mainly Paleozoics, because just the ability to continuously special summon from the graveyard, you're almost always going to have one of these live in grave, and you're almost always going to have materials. So if you're activating trap cards, which I try and run a lot of free non-conditional traps, those will be great. Moving on to our regular traps, we're going to playset of Lost Wind. Lost Wind is great because it gives you not only negate once, but it gives you the ability to reset. Plus, again, we're just talking about the ability to return stuff to your graveyard. Oh, great, you can reuse Lost Wind. So again, I like it because it's free. Ice Dragon's Prison is great and absolutely amazing, but I think the ability to reutilize Lost Wind kind of gives it a little bit of an edge in this particular profile. Next, we're going to playset of Compulsory Evacuation Device. I was debating between this and Torrential Tribute, which I don't run here, but the nice part about this is it's free, you can just activate it whenever, and B, it doesn't potentially destroy your own monsters. So I like it in there for that case. You can swap it out for Torrential Tributes if you want to. Next, we're going to playset of Waboku. Waboku is absolutely phenomenal because, again, you can activate for free at any point in time. It just protects you for that turn. It doesn't even have to be during your opponent's turn. It can be during your turn. So it gives you free generation of your resources in your graveyard and protection. So I love this as a playset. Along the same vein of both Compulse and Waboku, we're on 2 Storing Mirror Forces because just the ability to have the extra protection and special summon is phenomenal. And people don't like battle traps nowadays, so they don't expect to run into them. And so, yeah, we run 2 of them, and they are spicy meatball. Next, we run 2 Trap Trick. This searches most of your deck and sets one of the sets one of your traps. So, of course, you'd like to run searchers. The fact is, I don't want to, since it is a once per turn, I don't like to run it because it can be a little bit cloggy, especially when you're trying to set 5 and then pass, and you have 2 Trap Tricks, so you're like, well, frick. Okay, so we only run 2 of them in there in the main deck. Next for the one-offs, we're running 1 Titanic Code Talker because this essentially keeps on resetting itself, unlike Lost Wind. And yeah, it's a great disruption card. Imperial Order, because this is a blowout against some decks. And 1 Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Scrap Iron Scarecrow is the same mindset of like Waboku and Storming Near Force, except it has the ability to reset itself each time. You don't run more than 1, at least I don't particularly, because it just takes up a spot in your spell trap card zone, and especially turn 1, you need all the space that you can get. So we only run this as a one-off. That rounds up our massive trap lineup. Then we move on to the very small monster lineup. We run 2 Penguin Soldiers. That's it. No frogs. I understand the frogs are definitely more consistent, and that's great. That's awesome. But this gives more of a grind game and kind of different resource distribution, and the ability to just like live and without having to worry about certain disruptions is great. Like Effect Veiler, this is one of your opponent's only targets aside from your extra deck. So yeah, Penguin Soldier, no one expects it coming. Return 2 cards, and it's addable with Toad, so we keep this in here because we love Penguin Soldiers. And our small spell lineup. We're in a playset of Heatwave. This is easy to side out, but it's an absolutely amazing card going first, but we obviously don't have anything that will pop off going first, so it's very easy just to set 4 back row, activate Heatwave, your opponent can't play, then proceed to punch face during the following turn. So Heatwave is just absolutely amazing, and this is a deck that can really utilize it. Moving on to our extra deck, we run 1 of the new Paleozoic Cambarastor. I don't know. I'm terrible with these names. They're really cool. I used to be a really big dinosaur kid back in the day. But anyway, so this new Link monster I thoroughly underestimated. You can target a trap card or set card, small trap card, and pop it and set a Paleozoic from your deck that you can then activate that turn. That's from either player's side of the field. Plus, additionally, you can target one of your own cards, then chain it, and then not only do you get to resolve your card, but you freaking get to set another one from your deck. And he has the general Paleozoic effect, where they're all unaffected by monster effects. That is something that is just thoroughly amazing, and just shuts down so many aspects of opponents' disruptions. So I absolutely love him. I'm actually tempted to bump him up from 1 to 2, but right now the extra deck is tighter than what I thought it was going to be, but I might make some changes later. So we run 1 of that. Next, for the rest of our links, we run a Phoenix, Cerberus, and Unicorn. Obviously, the Nightmare package is absolutely amazing, right? Just the ability to disrupt and have those options for when the need arises. You want to run them in there. And rounding up, we run an Appaloosa. Appaloosa? Is it Appaloosa or Appaloosa? Appaloosa. Next, for our Xyz, we run 2 Upabinias. This is an absolutely amazing card. It searches your deck, allows you to activate any of your Paleozoics from your hand. Heck yeah. Also unaffected by crap, and 2400 defense. And its counterpart, Anomalcaris. It has the ability to detach freely and pop a card on the field, plus has a nice little excavation effect that I rarely ever get off, but it's a overlay for 3, 2400 beat stick, and it comes in effect here whenever we potentially want to go into Zeus. Right? The whole purpose of Anomalcaris is not for Zeus, but it does definitely serve that purpose, and Zeus is an amazing card. No need to explain there. We do run a couple of riveting cards. This is totally awesome. We run 2 of them because it is a just generally nice, awesome disruption. It steals your opponent's cards, gives you some advantage, has the ability to add back Penguin Soldier, which is the main purpose that you run it in here for. I'm just kidding. No, but still running it as a 2-off is pretty nice, and yeah. Next, we run 1 Daigusto Phoenix and 1 Cat Shark. These allow you to go for potential games and some stalls and some nice shenanigans. Sky Cavalry Centurus and the Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. There's just nice generic Link 2s that also give you the ability to just go for attacks. Right, that you can negate effects and put your most monster to 0, or you can just attack them without the fear of your monster being destroyed. Potentially go into Zeus, potentially just destroy stuff. It's nice. And that is going to about wrap up our Paleozoic deck profile. Excuse me, Paleozoic. I know it's, again, I've said already that the including the Frog Toad engine is definitely more consistent, but I've definitely had a lot of fun and success with this pure version, quote-unquote. Obviously, it gets shut down if your opponent has a proper side deck out, but if not, it allows you for some amazing interactions, some intense grind games, and just some additional fun that you like to have with the game, because the game is fun. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is fun. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.